Hello, everyone. It is Suzanne Hart here, and I am excited once again for another beautiful topic. But before I do, let's see who is out there. Andrea, if you can hear me, let me know. And if you hear an echo or anything along that, please let me know. Oh my goodness. All right. So we're going to just give a moment for people to join. Again, it is Suzanne Hart. This is a mindset mastery session. We are going to be talking about something extra special, living your life on purpose, and this thing called, I know if you were reading the email, sacred gifts. Sacred gifts. And you're probably wondering, what is that? I'm going to tell you in a minute. My guest is going to tell you in a minute. So as we're waiting for people to join, and I see there's a few people coming on, what I'm going to ask you to do is to, one, let us know who you are. Oh, Teresa saying, hi, Suzanne. Hi, Andrea. And so first of all, let us know who you are. What part of the world you're coming in from, and also what you do. Let the audience know what you do. And thank you, Trish. She says we look beautiful. So let us know what you do, and if you can, what brought you to this particular call tonight? What brought you to this live? So that's the first thing I'm going to ask you to do. The second thing is whether you're listening to this live or you're listening to this as a recording later. And if you're listening to it as a recording, chances are somebody thought of you and said, I'm going to bless my friend with this conversation because it's going to be a beautiful one. I'm going to ask you to share, and not share with one person, but I want you to share with five people whose lives you want to touch. 5 people who want to say, you know what, this is a conversation. So if you know anybody who you think is living their life on purpose or has a desire to live their life on purpose, share it with them. If you know of a community, so someone who has a group and they're thinking this is so in alignment with what they do and what they need for their community, please do the share. All right, so, and welcome. I am in Ottawa, Canada. I know I move around a lot. I can barely keep up with me. I think I was in Toronto, then I was in Montreal, then I was in Lennoxville, Quebec. My little bit of French, that's where it goes. I was visiting my parents, and now I am in Ottawa, Canada, the capital. I will show you some pictures later. And I have a very special guest. So I met this beautiful woman as I was getting involved in Make Your Mark. And she's a Make Your Mark facilitator, and she facilitates the group that I'm part of. And you know, when you get into a community, you get onto a call and instantly there's a connection. It was instant. I was like, I don't know, but we're gonna connect, and we're gonna figure it out. And so she's a facilitator. Now, this is someone who really, one of her gifts is the ability to facilitate a process, have people reflect and move with new information. One of her gifts is to challenge you with love and grace and hold you accountable. I like to say hold you capable to your greatness. She is also a facilitator for sacred gifts, and I will let her tell you more about that. She is also, like me, a past personal trainer, but she's like personal trainer extraordinaire. She's the personal trainer of the personal trainers, right? And 20 plus years experience. She's an author of nutritional books, you know, anything related to health. This is your gal. But this is the interesting thing. Like me, she has shifted her journey. And she shifted her journey because she realized that her sacred gifts was not so much what happened in the gym, but what happened between your 2 ears. And so she is now shifting, and not that health is not a thing, it's that she wants to do something else. She wants to expand the health and wellness and fitness conversation. So please help me welcome to this Facebook Live the none other than Andrea Thatcher. Hey, hon.
Thank you so much for having me here today, Suzanne. What a lovely introduction. Thank you. And hello to all the beautiful souls on the call today.
Oh, you know what? I am excited for this conversation, and I'm excited for this conversation partly because it touched me, right? It touched me in such a way because it confirmed a lot of things that I knew, but it gave me clarity around what I already knew.
Yes.
So I think I want to start with first of all, what does it mean to you to live your life on purpose? Because it's a phrase that people throw around, but what does it really mean?
In reality, and I'll invite you, Suzanne, and I'll invite everyone on the call today to go through a simple exercise that will help answer that. Is that okay with you?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Let's everybody take both hands, place them right on your heart, and I want you to feel into, I want to find my purpose. Yes, I'm finding my purpose. I'm finding my purpose. Feel into that. And now instead, feel into, I feel on purpose. I feel on purpose. You see, to me, the path to living on purpose isn't finding your purpose. The path to living on purpose is feeling on purpose.
Okay.
Does that make sense? When you feel into the different energies just from those statements, does that make it clear?
Well, yeah, because actually finding my purpose is here, right?
Yes.
Feeling my purpose is here. And even as we say it, I know that when I am in my sweet spot, it is a total feeling.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I lose time because the feeling is consuming.
Absolutely. I call that the time vortex.
Yes.
The time, and people can be time vortexes, experiences can be time vortexes, and then you're not in your gifts and you're not feeling or living on purpose when a minute feels like a week.
Yes, I have experienced both. I've experienced where I'm totally in the time vortex. We've been spending a lot of time in the vortex lately.
Yes.
And I've experienced the where it's like paint drying.
Yes.
Like, could we go any slower? Could this be any more annoying? Two very extreme things. So one of the things you did was you gave me a phone call.
Yes.
And you said, I'm facilitating a process. I think you'd be perfect for it. And you said, I'm facilitating a process called Sacred Gifts.
Yes.
And it will help you clarify a few things. Now, for me, I said it helped me clarify that I was on purpose.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So for those listening, what exactly is a sacred gift?
Wow. In the words of the Sacred Gifts creator, Monique MacDonald, they're abilities that are with you from the day you're born to the day you die that allow you to do ordinary things extraordinarily well. They're abilities that are placed in you. Now, they're non-religious, although they can be rooted in religion. For example, some would call it gifts from God. Others would say, oh, that's a gift from spirit. Others would say that's a gift from the earth. So it's non-religious, although it can blend into religion because they come from a mysterious origin. And the example I'll give is they're not in your DNA. It's not like if you're born twins, that both twins have the same gifts. No. They're really absolutely individual. And Monique has listed 24 sacred gifts. Every human on the planet has at least one. I'm telling you right now, and likely 3, 4, or 5 of them as well. And it's such a blessing that we don't have all 24. Oh, let me tell you, I'm so grateful for the gifts that I don't have. I'm equally as grateful as I am for the gifts that I do. Does that help clarify a little bit what the sacred gifts are?
Absolutely. And even as we were going through it, I was so thrilled that I didn't have certain gifts.
Yes,
I was like, I just don't like that. No, I was just so thrilled that I didn't have certain gifts. And then I was elated about the gifts I had.
Yeah.
And so one thing I'm going to ask, so I see Crystal. Hi, Crystal. Hey, Taylor, how are you? I see Don Macon joining. So this is what I'm going to ask everybody, is to write in the comment section if there is something that you do that you kind of do it in your sleep. You lose time doing it. People call you to do it. It's just like,
Yes.
this is just me, right? And Andrea, talk a little bit about, because I love the thing. It's not things that are extraordinary. They're things that are just every day. But the person, we each do it like so extraordinarily well.
Yes.
That people often think it's mind blowing.
Absolutely.
Right? They're like, oh my gosh, you're so good at it. And so why does sacred gift and living on purpose kind of go together?
Oh, wow. Would it be okay if I shared my journey into it, which may answer that question?
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. As you mentioned, I lived a 25-year career as a fitness professional. And I was top of my game. I taught and certified personal trainers all across Canada. I did this as my full-time job, and I loved it. Placing myself in a classroom and helping people live their life more healthfully, and then extend that forward again to help their clients live their life more healthfully. Like, I was truly making an impact and feeling like this is it for me. This is it. So 25 years I'm doing fitness. In the last 5 years or so-ish, something was off. So imagine I'd wake up every day, I'd place my left foot in my shiny Birkenstock and say thank, and my right foot in my shiny Birkenstock and say thank you so much for letting me go to work today and do what I love the most. Like, I had serious positive impact on other people. And my students would always say to me, I don't know, I took anatomy in university and you taught me more in 30 minutes than I learned in 4 years. I don't know how you did that. So I knew I was impacting and positively and enhancing other people's lives. And this went on for 20 years. I loved what I did. But the last 5 years, something was just a little off and I couldn't land it. I couldn't put my finger on it. I was still teaching and helping and loving and doing. And it was a moment in time for me, and I can pinpoint it to last September. I'm in the shower and I'm washing my hair, and a voice comes in and says, call Monique. And I thought, that's weird. Not the voice. The voice is perfectly normal to me. That's weird. I haven't spoken to Monique in years. So I had my sacred gifts done years before and thought that's interesting and didn't do much with it because I was pretty on purpose in my career. So I reached out I came down from my shower to reach out to Monique. And I remember the moment, Suzanne, I opened my computer to find her contact information, and Facebook was open. And right there on Facebook was a message from Monique that said, do you want to become a sacred gifts guide? Call me today for your discovery call. And I laughed and I laughed and I thought, oh, this is universe at work right now. So I called Monique, and during that one phone call, she reminded me of the Feel on Purpose formula. When I shared with her, something's amiss. I still love teaching. I love sharing. I'm helping so many people. I love what I do. Something's amiss. And she said, Andrea, go back to the Feel on Purpose formula. And when I did, I recognized the missing piece. And in November of last year, I retired from my 25-year career in fitness to pursue what I love. You see, fitness trains the physical body, and I'm very good at teaching and training the physical body. And all my work in natural nutrition also helped the physical body. So, people would come to me, I'm the all-encompassing, I'm an energy worker in Reiki, I do natural nutrition, I'm a 25-year personal trainer. But the piece that was always missing for me was the 6 inches between their ears.
I got you on that one.
The best diet plan in the world won't matter, and the best fitness plan won't matter, and Reiki sessions up the wazoo won't matter if the 6 inches in here wasn't right. And I didn't realize that was really my greatest passion. That's really what I was delivering in my classroom behind the anatomy, behind the nutrition. It was your relationship with self, your relationship with food, your relationship with others. How do you perceive life? How can we lift your mood and emotion in an instant? And that's why I retired, to pursue living on purpose in whatever that looks like for the individual. See, for some, living on purpose would be cooking. For others, it would be a bed and breakfast or an Airbnb. I would rather, like, no, I'm so anti-hospitality. That would be awful for me. So living on purpose is there's a whole process. There's actually a feel on purpose formula that I'm happy to speak to. Should we have time on today's call? So does that answer your question? I know I went off.
And I love what you're talking to as well, because one of the things that's really happening is, I know for myself, I can be so close and yet so far.
Yes.
Right? And it's just this little turn of my head that could be like, my life explodes with joy. Right? And I know for myself, it was the same thing. You know, almost everything I did, the part to me that was always the juicy stuff was the mindset, right?
Yes.
And similarly, I would do things really well, but I'd always be coming back to this thing, and I'd be pushing envelopes, breaking boundaries to do this thing, no matter where I was, right? Whether it was in network marketing, whether it was in counseling, whether it was when I worked in child welfare, when I managed women's households, I'd always be like, let's just work this through. And they'd always be go, okay, that's not what we're doing. And I'd be like, oh, but that's what I do.
Yes.
And so to really be able to narrow it down, so let me ask everyone that's listening, what would it feel like, and using Andrea's words, what would it feel like to just find that sweet spot where it might be just a subtle shift, but you figure out what it is that makes what you're doing either no longer be something you're doing, or you do it in such a subtly different way that it brings joy, passion, and purpose to it.
Yes.
Right? And I think the other thing that you're talking about, and I loved you said, you know, some people's living on purpose is cooking, some people's hospitality. You and I, we agreed that's not us. We're not the hospitality, right? I love to be the receiver of hospitality.
Correct.
Right? So, but this is the thing, is we spend so much time in our lives creating income.
Yes.
Why not find out how you can do that? And I remember when I was listening to one of Monique's recordings, and even her story, where she's a nurse.
Yes.
And losing the joy in that.
Yes.
Right? And very good at it. And I think this is the thing to really get. Very good at it, very gifted at it as you. People come to you, you are brilliant, but there's still something missing. And just because you're good at something does not necessarily make it your gift.
No.
That is so cool.
There's what the program, the Sacred Gifts program, leads into is understanding and discerning the difference between a gift and a skill.
Ah, I love it.
Excuse me. So I'm highly skilled at many things, and I'm excellent at them, and I'm called on to do them regularly. And I've identified they're not a gift because they're energy vampire tasks. When I'm in my gift, I know the difference. I'm also equally excellent at it, and people come to me for it. That's where the time vortex is. That's where the joy is. So although I'm excellent at both pieces, the discerning process allows us to determine a skill versus a gift. A gift will always be energizing, and a skill not so much.
Got it. So this is the question. Because this is the mindset piece. This is the thinking through, right?
Yeah.
So here you are, rocking it in fitness. I know money's flowing. You've been doing it for 20 years. So you're feeling secure in it.
Yes.
Right. And I can imagine there are people listening that are like, I know a few people listening that I'm really good at what I do. I'm excellent at what I do. It's not floating my boat and melting my butter. That's yours.
It is mine. I love that you just used that.
Right? It is totally not doing that, but I feel secure and safe.
Correct. And that's where I lived for 5 years. It was, I woke up every day in gratitude, although I woke up every day like in Groundhog Day. I'm not kidding. You know, I'd be like, is this my life? Like, am I really filling the dishwasher again today? Didn't I do this yesterday? Am I really doing this process again today?
Mm-hmm.
And I was very good at it, and it flowed with ease, and there was a system in place and a process, and time management was in, and the money was in my bank. Although I could not inwardly escape the feeling of, is this really it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this it?
Because joy is missing, isn't it?
Hands down. The ease was there, the flow was there, the money was there, the process was there, the system was there, the prestige was there, the respect was there. No, there was still something missing.
Ah, and so this, and I love how you started the call, because I'm going to come back to ask you your next question. You started the call with your sacred gift comes from a higher place, right?
Correct.
So it's a godly gift, it's a spirit gift, it's an earth gift, whatever your belief system is, right? So
Yes.
I believe my gift comes from God.
Yes, as do I. Yes.
And when I'm in it, I'll tell people, don't ask me what to repeat anything, because I don't necessarily think it's of me. I'm just in it, right? I am the messenger, right?
I'm so glad you get that. I share that same gift where I don't know what I just said. It didn't come from me. It came from me.
And I have, and students who work with me, they are like, oh, I can repeat because she won't be able to. Right?
Yes.
But this is the beautiful thing about it is that it allows you to be so purpose driven that there's always joy in what you do. So
Yes.
for people who are caught, and I see Sarita on, and I know Sarita, she's about to explode on a journey of
Yes.
right? And so I know that there's people that are caught in the security of the skill,
Yes.
and the talent,
Yes.
and the income. What do you do mind-wise to sort of go, but imagine the joy of purpose,
Yes.
right? Imagine the ease of purpose, the flow, like it's a different type of energy.
Yes.
And I think why it's a different type of energy is because we're called to it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll speak to that, Suzanne. I clearly remember in my early 20s, this goes back. Wow, I'm going to digress quite a bit to share this. Please keep me on path. I remember being in my 20s. I lived a very shady, unethical, lacking character because I lacked boundaries. I lacked foundation. I was not living my life as I should. And I remember, or as I could have, I remember sobbing to my sister and saying, I don't have a talent. I don't have a talent. I can't draw. I can't sing. I can't dance. I'm horrible at math. I don't have a talent. And she said to me, Andrea, you just haven't lived enough life yet. You just haven't lived enough life. I promise you, you have a talent. And it was 25 years ago. I was 24 years old, and I was sitting in a classroom as a participant, and I was learning to be an aerobics instructor. It was the start of my fitness career. Now, this was back when we wore the thong on the outside of our pants, okay? Yeah, okay. So there's like, we're going back that far. And the instructor was teaching anatomy, and I don't ever recall learning anatomy. I only recall knowing anatomy. And I couldn't figure out why the people around me were struggling with anatomy. It's perfectly plain as day. It's right there. It's clear as a whistle. What do you mean you don't understand anatomy? And I would reach over and I would say something, and they'd go, oh, that makes perfect sense. Thank you. And this went on through my aerobics training. And then when I took my personal training, and then when I went on to my rehab training, and I couldn't figure out why people didn't understand anatomy. And then it dawned on me, oh, now I understand my talent.
Mm-hmm.
So I truly don't recall ever learning anatomy. I just recall knowing it. I also never, ever learned how to teach. I never learned how to manage a room of people. I never learned how to give advice. It just was.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only when I went through the Discovering Your Sacred Gifts process, and it is a process, it really is a discerning process, and there are exercises we do to distinguish between a skill or a gift. And when I went through that process, all these repeated patterns of teaching came up, and it was so peaceful knowing, oh, this is my God-given gift. Teaching is one of my gifts. It is. Facilitation is one. So it's been with me all along. I just didn't know what to look for in my 20s.
Uh-huh.
I will always remember that conversation. Oh, Andrea, you just haven't lived enough life. And she was right. The talent, the gift was there.
It's interesting because when I first got into social services and I got into counseling, I was, like everybody else, doing my thing. And I had this one supervisor, and I tell the story because I remember like just being so upset because every time I give her something, it'd be come back all scribbled in red, sort of stuff, and I'd be like, ah. And I remember saying to her, "You don't like me," having a full blown pity party at 20 years old. And she looked at me and she said, "It doesn't matter if I like you."
Yes.
I was like, but wait a minute. Right? And then she said, "My job is to find the best in you."
Yes.
And then she said to me, "You have no idea how gifted you are." Wow. And I was like, and truly, I was sitting there going, no. Like, I don't even know what she's talking about. I have no clue what she's talking about. But anybody who knows me and works with me, I listen on all these different layers. I don't know why.
Yes.
I can feel you. I can hear you. It's just all these different layers. And I unpack things that, and people are like, "How did you get that?" I have no idea. Yeah. It's just there. I can just do it. And she saw the gift in me, and I didn't even know it.
Yes. Would it be okay if I spoke to that? Because
Absolutely.
What's coming up right there, what I heard so clearly, is what we call the H factor, or the human factor. And the human factor, I'll describe it as such, because we just witnessed it in the story you shared, that I would love to do that, and I love this, and this brings me so much joy. But whatever follows the but is no longer your gift or your soul self. You're now tapping into your human self. I can't afford it. I don't have time. I don't know how. I don't have this. Whatever follows the but is the H factor. Mm-hmm. So here's a beautiful woman sharing with you how gifted you are. And your soul is whispering, yes, yes, you are. And your human self, which is loud and obnoxious, starts screaming at you saying, no, you're not. No, you're not. And what do we believe as humans? We believe our human voice instead of the whisper of our soul. So your soul was whispering your gifts to you all along, and your teacher saw it, and then your human self attempted to kibosh it.
Absolutely. It's been years where I've got glimpses of it.
Yes.
And this is the other thing. Not only do you get glimpses of it, but it's to trust it, right?
Yes.
Because this is the crazy thing about these gifts. I don't know where it comes from. And I think we're so conditioned, like I'm supposed to have learned it.
Yes.
I'm supposed to have gone to school for it. It has to be educated into me.
Yes.
So if I just come to it from an unknowing source,
yes,
it's like it can't be real. And I think what's so powerful about this call, and this is our mindset, because it is to trust our divine power.
Yes.
That power that is in us, that all of us has, that whispers to us and shakes us and nudges us and taps on our shoulder. And we're like, why does that keep nudging me? It keeps nudging me because it's yours.
Yes. Not what your parents wanted you to be, or what your husband or your wife wants you to be, or what your children expect you to be, or what your coworkers expect you to be, or what you've always been told to be. All of that is something else. All of that is completely something else. And Suzanne, when we pause long enough to actually hear our soul speak, as our beingness lies within our humanness, and the difference is our beingness whispers and our humanness screams. So by nature, without a coach, the reason we are so needed in what we do is, being coaches, we see so clearly other people's blind spots. And with love and support, we point them out and encourage the gifts and encourage the soul to continue to whisper. We calm the human voice that comes through that attempts to take us out of our gifts.
Oh, this is brilliant. And it's so I see Sarita and I keep coming back to her because we had the most brilliant conversation. And she was sharing with me exactly what you talked about. There's been a whisper.
Oh, yes.
Right? And I think now it's gone from a whisper to a rumble to a it's her time, and she knows it's her time. And I commend Sarita, because she's trusting.
Yes.
She's trusting her divine purpose.
Mm. And that's a really big deal for someone who who doesn't actually have the gift of extraordinary trust. It comes easy to us because we do. Although we really have to honor those taking this leap, literally this leap of faith into their gifts and into their purpose. If one of their gifts isn't extraordinary trust, it's their humanness will want to take over. Where with those who do have the gift of extraordinary trust, those big risks are taken with ease. So that I really want to commend the courage in exploring this. If trust is not a foundational gift for you, that's a massive amount of courage to step into that.
Teresa's saying, it's my time. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
And then we have Crystal who's saying, I had a similar thing just happened to me. Oh, LOL, I am not crazy. No, girl, Crystal, you are not. And you know, and your comment to Crystal, because I think that's so powerful, is that she's had this similar thing. And there's a part of you that goes, am I nuts?
Yes, yes. Human self, soul self. And so many of us, Suzanne, on this planet are conditioned from a young age that someone who's older, a parent, a teacher, a professor, a boss, they know better. And we surrender our actual being into what we believe to be their knowingness. And that is an absolute recipe for living someone else's life. And the embracing of our own choices and our own desires, regardless of what other people think or say, when we can truly stand in our power sphere and we can make a choice and decision without seeking the approval or the permission of anybody else around us. The only people that I care about is myself and God. And when I decide, along with God, I don't need anybody else's permission or approval. That's the power sphere that will take us on the path. The caveat to that is, how do we release and unlearn 30, 40, 50, 60 years of conditioning of seeking other people's approval and seeking other people's permission? Our purpose lies in our heart space. Our purpose does not lie in someone else's opinion. And that's the scariest decision to make.
And you know, it's interesting because I'm reading a book and I'm reading faith, right?
Yes.
And I think what you're talking about is true faith.
Yes.
Is when there is an inner knowing.
Yes.
That this is such a part of me. This is in me. I know this. There's something about this that just feels right. And faith is. I tell people there's a reason why we say blind faith.
Yes. Yes.
Faith is what we have in the absence of evidence, but there's an inner knowing.
Yes.
Right. And so it is really to go on that faith walk. And I always remind myself and I remind people that when I get a gift, right, that taps into my brilliance, the tendency to go check with other people, right? That's our human self. Let me go check.
Yep.
And what I remind myself was the gift wasn't given to them.
Yes.
They're not supposed to hear it, experience it like I do. So I'm going to check out something that they can't even.
Yes.
Because it wasn't their gift.
Their gifts are totally different. So how can we seek advice from someone who doesn't even have the gifts that we're exploring? Of course, that will create, tumultuous relationships and the thought of, am I crazy? Like, why isn't my husband, wife, brother, sister, mom, dad, colleagues, coworkers, or best friend, whatever that person may be, not supporting this? Simple. It's not their gifts. It's yours. Now, my sister and I are the perfect examples. We look identical. We're two peas in a pod. And she is a union worker. I'm an entrepreneur. So if I went to her for advice, let me tell you, I would not be living my purpose. Although if she came to me, I'd be like, take the risk, go do what you want. No, it's not who she is. She lives in the gift of hospitality. I hear the doorbell ring, I run, and I'm like, stop breathing so they can't hear me. So we're entirely polar opposite sisters. And she is gifted in all of the areas, Suzanne, I am not.
Mm.
So, of course, if I sought her advice, which we stopped doing a long time ago, I would think I'm crazy. So,
And
of course we do.
And you know what's really powerful, because I know my sister and I are also polar opposites. And what this program also did for me was to allow me to have a new level of acceptance.
Yes.
Right? Because I was like, oh, that's just not her gift. I get it.
Yes.
Right?
Judgment.
And that's my gift. I get it.
Yeah.
Right? And it allowed a freedom to just surrender and go, okay, that's me and that's her. And I think it really got me present to the conditioning of my mind.
Yes.
Right? By and although I don't think I'm big on the shoulds, I saw a new level of all these shoulds that I was just carrying around.
Yes.
I was like, okay, I get it. And so I love this conversation because what it does, and what you're also saying, is that there's something in us that will always speak to us.
Yes.
And it for some of us it's a whisper, for some of us it's a scream, for some of us it's shaking you.
Yes.
Right, Sarita? It's shaking you. Right? And it is to trust that in you, and trust it in the absence of anyone else's agreement.
Yes.
And this is the beautiful thing. I think when you start to trust it and you align with it, the world starts to see it too.
Oh, that's where the universe begins to match us. We don't have to go the whole way. We just have to start the journey. Some people call that serendipitous. I call it living on purpose.
Okay. Oh, I'm okay, Andrea, like really seriously, this is so good. Okay. So let's see what the comments are, because I'm like, whoa.
I just realized there was a button for me to click and see the comments. I'm just seeing them now. Sometimes I'm just pretty.
So Taylor, hey Taylor, how are you? She says, yes, we have to be delivered from people and their opinions to freely move forward in our purpose. And I know, Taylor, you have recently just stepped into it. So girl, you know that you know. I know you're on that faith walk. Yeah. And then Crystal says, congratulations, Sarita. Yes, yes.
Living on purpose.
And Dawn says it feels like it's a feeling, right? And it's amazing.
Yes,
it's amazing when you're in that place. We're definitely going to have to continue more conversations. We're going to do a few more Facebook Lives. This is juicy.
I'd love that. Because Suzanne, unlike some people who would rather die than public speak, or fret for a whole week when they have to speak at a meeting, you and I are in our gift. So this comes as easily as those people that cook and they make like really good food. That is what makes me anxious. That's not a gift for me. Well, this is us in our gift. So that's what makes it so juicy.
And this is so, I'm gonna begin to wrap on this, but this is so beautiful what you just said, because what you're also speaking to in my case is somebody can shut down your gift. Yes. Right? So consider that I came to Canada at the age of 5. And I tell this story when I speak because people are like, she's so easy and flow in front of the room. But I tell people that I went through elementary school, high school, university, never raising my hand and never taking the front of the room. Yes. Because of an experience that had a outgoing little girl just move inwards to protect herself.
Absolutely.
Right. So my gift was completely shut down. And it wasn't till probably in my 30s, late 30s, that network marketing.
Oh, yes.
Kind of started doing this, right? And then I remember working with David, and there was a moment where and I remember he said to you, when your authentic self shows up, it's over. And what he saw was the birthing of, and I was just tapping into this thing that was in me that was suppressed.
Absolutely.
Because of environment.
Oh. That
right?
is called imposed dormancy. So our gifts can go through awakening and dormancy. It can, and external factors, we call that imposed dormancy. I'm so grateful you just spoke to that, because many will say, no, that's not my gift. I can't public speak. Pause and hold. It may be a gift, just experiencing imposed dormancy.
Right. And I'll tell you a clue. So
Yeah.
I'd be in the room and I wouldn't put up my hand, but I'd be talking to myself.
Yes.
I'd be answering questions. I'd be rewriting people's things. I'd be like, oh, I could think that like this. I could think like that. My inner side is jumping. Like my inner side is in front of the room, but I'm sitting there scared.
I
Right.
love it.
And so I knew, right, that there was something. I was just afraid.
Yes.
And so once I released it, it was like people, when I tell people I was afraid of the front of the room, they're like,
that's just cute now, isn't it? What a beautiful experience.
I tell you, oh my gosh, I love these comments. So first of all, thank you so much.
Oh, Suzanne, thank you for having me. And I appreciate the comments now that I see them. Thank you for those who are commenting as well.
So I know that there's probably people that are sitting there going, this sacred gift business is real.
Yes, it is.
And they probably know that they're so close from purpose. They're steps away from purpose. And I also know that, when you get up in age and years have rolled by, purpose takes on a whole new meaning because we become time sensitive.
Absolutely.
Right? So how does someone connect with you who is like, I love what she's saying,
yes,
and I need to learn more, I need to find out more? How do they connect with you?
Oh, thank you so much. I do invite any of you to reach out to me with any questions or comments from tonight. Simply AndreaThatcher.com. AndreaThatcher.com. And one of the first things you'll see on my website, of course, is the sacred gifts and the process. There's different options to explore sacred gifts. So that's one of the first things you'll see when you investigate. Or, of course, click the Contact Me button and simply share your questions or comments with me. Thank you for letting me share that.
Fantastic. Thank you. And we'll make sure that your email is in the comment section.
Thank you.
So that people can definitely connect with you. And again, if you are here as we close, what I'm going to ask you to do, first of all, wasn't this information just absolutely brilliant? Like, so, and you don't get this kind of conversation many places. It's such a inner conversation, right?
Yes.
My whole thing with mindset mastery, my whole thing is really getting people to trust not only this, but this. And it's where the head and the heart meet, right? They come together. And so, our guests are those individuals that are in that conversation or giving us a peek into a different place of mindset. So if you saw value, I'm going to ask you to share this with 5 people and let them know why you're sharing it. Right. So add a comment to it and say, I'm sharing this with you because
yes,
Andrea just rocked my world with her brilliance. Right. This conversation was amazing. Share with 5 people because this is what I do know. Whenever I am gifted or blessed with information that moves me, it's not for just me. And I can always think of, what, I can bless this person, I can bless this person. I can always think of 5 to 10 people who, if I could bless them with the information, it would change them. It might change their world. It might change the week. It may just be what they needed to just get out of a funk or to get to the next level.
Yes.
Someone. Andrea, last words.
Yes.
What are your last words?
My last words are simple. Please, if everyone on the call today would place both feet flat on the floor, place both hands on your heart, close your eyes, draw your energy inward, and give thanks to one thing in your life. One thing. And then pause. Because in every moment of gratitude, there's always a message from our soul. And only in that moment of silence will we hear what our soul is speaking to us. So build off gratitude and hear your soul.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. We have been speaking with Andrea Thatcher. And if you want to find out more about Sacred Gifts, definitely reach out to her. We will make sure her contact information is in the comment section. And if any of you want to, I'm going to be doing a mastermind within the next 2 weeks. It's going to be a mindset mastery mastermind. It's 90 minutes. If you want to be part of that mastermind, you definitely want to type challenge in the comment section. That way we know that you want to make sure we contact you with the information to prepare for the mastermind. You're going to have some questions to answer, so we know exactly what you're looking for. We may want to make sure it's also a good fit. And it'll be 90 minutes, and we're going to do some work. We're going to do some deep diving. We're going to have a beautiful conversation. So if that's something that you want to be part of, it's totally complimentary, but it's going to be big. It's going to be so much fun. Put challenge in the comment section, and we will definitely make sure and reach out to you. Once again, I've been speaking with Andrea Thatcher. Andrea, thank you.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome. And everyone else, we will see you. I will see you next Thursday with a new topic. All right. Take care.
God bless.
Blessings, my dear.